busy people getting fit in Fulshear, Texas. Our aim is to help you look better, feel better, and perform better as quickly as possible. I'm your host, Brian White with Blue Eagle Fitness and Nutrition. Welcome. Hey, what's up, Clancy?
Hey, Brian.
Well, I had a great weekend. We celebrated my 18-year-old. Well, she turns 18 on Thursday. So my 17-year-old's birthday, I took her up to Calgary, and we did lots of hiking in the Banff Canadian National Forest.
Oof, that sounds amazing. How
Our
was it? What
biggest
was the
hike,
weather?
it was a height elevation. In one hike we went up 1,000 feet. So it was a 2.5, 3 mile hike with an elevation increase of 1,000 feet, which is higher than here. Right? I think my
What kind
house
of
sits at
weather?
155 feet above sea level.
Was it cold?
No, it was perfect weather.
Nice.
It got it down into the 40s at night, but during the day, it was when we started the hike at about 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., it was 50s. And by the time we were done, it was in the mid 70s. So it was beautiful. Sunshine, clear skies, absolutely beautiful. Took lots of great pictures that my daughter has
Awesome.
already posted on Instagram. So if I want to know anything about what my kids are doing, I just followed them on Instagram.
Exactly. Exactly. So what time did you finish if you started at 8 a.m.?
It took about 2.5 hours.
Oh,
So
okay.
11, yeah. Then went and
Oh,
got
that's good.
lunch. Yeah. And then did a
Nice.
gondola ride. Yeah. We had a great time. We had a great time.
That's amazing. That's so cool. You guys do those birthday trips. I love it.
Yeah. They're meant to replace those birthday parties, that no one likes. Like my wife and I don't like hosting or having with a bunch of kids over. So instead we use the money and put it toward a one-on-one trip, which is good. And our kids are fantastic at traveling, right? They know where to go, they know how to act, how to move around to, new places, whether it's an international trip to Canada or taking my 14-year-old to New York City, go on the subway, and they're fast, and they know how to handle and take care of themselves, right? Some social awareness, how not to put yourself in a bad situation, where you won't get mugged or whatever. And we're constant. That's the point. It's one of the points of the trip. Like, we're talking about this stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we had a great time.
That's awesome. I love it.
Well, our topic today is we're going to talk about nutrition, and we're going to talk about labels. And our label that we're going to use as an example is peanut butter. So there we go.
Oh, you want to
Texas.
see something funny?
Did you have the same?
The
So
same exact
before,
one.
oh, you have the crunchy. You have crunchy. I have
I have
creamy.
crunchy.
So before this podcast, I just
That's
asked Nancy
hilarious.
to grab whatever peanut butter she might have in her pantry, not
Well, I
knowing
have two.
exactly.
This is my
Okay,
husband. My husband likes crunchy. So do I, but he likes the HEB. And then I have the Simple Truth organic creamy also.
perfect.
But we have
So
like
let's
we have like
compare.
four.
Let's compare the Simple Truth creamy to the HEB Texas creamy. Now, a couple of things I wanted to cover in this podcast. Number one, how to read a nutrition label and what's important. And I also wanted to use peanut butter as an example because I have lots of conversations with clients who view peanut butter as a protein source. And I think we're going to open some eyes to let you know that that's a tough sell. That's a tough sell. So let's start with
Mm-hmm.
we're going to compare my creamy to your smart. Was it Smart Balance or
It's called Simple Truth,
Simple
no
Truth,
stir,
organic? Yeah,
creamy.
yeah, yeah. Blah blah blah. Okay. Let's
All
talk
right.
about. So if we look at the label here, it's 180 calories. In that we want to know serving size, 2 tablespoons. In
Mm-hmm.
theory, the serving size on a nutrition label is how much they actually expect you to eat at any given moment. Okay, that's supposed to be. They're not allowed, in theory, to cheat on the serving size and make it smaller than what you would expect. So two tablespoons is 180 calories. And what is yours with your
So mine is also 2 tablespoons serving size, and it's 190.
190? So yours is 10 calories heavier than mine. The reality, sometimes we get into some rounding errors. So we're going to call that about the same. Okay. Now for protein, because most people think of peanut butter as a protein source. For protein, this is 7 grams of protein. How much protein is in yours?
7.
7. Okay. So the the calculus that we do, the equation that we do for understanding if what we're eating is protein or not, is we're going to take the number of calories, so in this case 180, and we're going to divide that number by the grams of protein. Okay? And so that's 180 or 190, we'll call it 180 just for purposes here, divided by 7. And Clancy, have you figured out what that gives you?
27.
Yeah, 25 to 27. It's going to give you 20. We'll call it 27. So that ratio is 27. So for 27 calories, you gain 1 gram of protein. Okay, for 27 calories, you get 1 gram of protein. Now, if we compare that to something we absolutely know is protein rich, the first thing that comes to mind are egg whites. Egg whites have 25 calories for 5 grams of protein. And that ratio is 5. Right? So that's a lot more protein rich than peanut butter. Chicken, if we take whole chicken, which includes the skin, includes the fat, I have the numbers here. Chicken, a serving of chicken, 180 calories. So actually the same number of calories that's in this peanut butter. And you get 30 grams of protein for a ratio of 6 to 1.
Yeah.
Right. So when we think about protein sources, and we can do this as with a quote unquote protein bar, you can take your protein bar, which has about 300 calories.
Yeah. 300
and
calories.
It usually comes with 15 to 20 grams of protein.
Okay.
Which is a ratio that comes out to 15 to 20.
Right.
Even some quote unquote protein bar is actually a carb bar. It's a candy bar where they've added protein powder to it. So if our
20...
other option was eating a Snickers, great, eat the quote unquote protein bar. But that's not the way most of us are eating protein bars.
Okay, so let's go back to the protein bar example for a second.
Okay.
You said 300 calories and roughly what, 15 grams of
roughly 15
protein?
grams of
so
protein.
That's 20.
That's
so
20.
You're saying for every 20. So tell me what I'm
For every 20 calories, you are gaining 1 gram of protein.
Okay.
Okay. Because one of the things that we're trying to accomplish here is we want to eat as much protein as possible in as few calories as possible. Right. If we're trying to get toned, right, and burn fat, we need to main or gain muscle, and we need to lose fat. The only way you can maintain and gain muscle is by eating enough protein.
So with chicken or egg whites, for every 5 or 6 calories you're eating, you're getting 1 gram of protein.
That's right.
Versus having to eat 20 of some crappy protein bar to get
Correct.
1 gram of protein. I see.
That's exactly right.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So that's
okay,
the rate.
bye
When
bye
I'm looking,
peanut butter in the trash.
well,
Just
okay.
kidding.
So yeah. So the question is, do I need to throw away my peanut butter? The answer is no. We're just not going to eat it for protein. What is the main, when we think about our macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat? The main ingredient in protein, if we look at carbs, it has 8 grams of carbs. For every gram of carbs is 4 calories. So that's 32 calories. In this 32 calories, and 180 calories of peanut butter. 32 calories are coming from carbs. So this isn't a good carb source either. Okay. Instead, we look at the fat. So look at total fat. And how much is in yours?
Mine is 16
Okay.
grams of
So
fat.
mine's 15, yours is 16. That's going to be the 10 calorie difference, by the way. One gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we take 15, multiply it by 9, and in my case, it's going to be 135 calories. So out of 180 calories, 135 of them are coming from fat.
Dang.
Now that's fine as long as I know that I'm eating fat. Peanut butter is fat, it is not protein.
Yeah, and as long as I'm not eating spoonfuls and spoonfuls of it.
And as long as we're not eating spoonfuls and spoonfuls of it. That's exactly right. I mean, one serving, so 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is equivalent for most of us. It is equivalent for about 25% of our total fat needs. So if you're eating a lot of peanut butter, if you're eating a lot of nuts, if you're eating a lot of seeds, and you're not losing weight, this may be a culprit. It was for me. It was for me because I was eating peanut butter all the time. I would go for a run, come home and be, hungry, and put peanut butter, honey on bread, right? Get essentially 5 grams, 6 or 7 grams of protein. And I was eating 300 calories of carbs and fat. 300 calories. I only need about 1,800 calories a day, by the way. So 1/6 of my calories were coming in 2 slices of bread, peanut butter, and honey.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So you're walking around your daily life. We're all walking around. We're not going to throw the peanut butter away because we like it. We're just not
Yep.
going to eat as much. So what would you tell people? What would you recommend? Maybe like if you like peanut butter, maybe twice a week eat peanut butter. Once a
Yeah.
week
So
eat peanut butter.
the
It's not
first thing I would
every single
recommend
day.
is to measure how much peanut butter you're eating. Like to get like, are you eating a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 10 tablespoons? Like to actually measure it, right? Because if you're eating 1 tablespoon every 2 days, it's not really worth a conversation. If we're having 5 or 6 tablespoons every single day, this is probably the reason why you're not losing weight. Right. So the first thing I would do is, and that's my first piece of advice to everyone. I talk to people and when it comes to nutrition, and the first question is, do I have to give up ice cream? Do I have to give up wine? Do I have to give up my alcohol? Well, how much are you drinking now? How much ice cream are you eating now? Well, a bowl. Okay. Well, I mean, is that half a scoop? Is that 4 scoops? I mean, that's a big difference. And that was the process I went through. The first thing and we don't have to weigh and measure everything, but if you have never weighed or measured any of your food ever, it can be eye opening with how much, alcohol is the easiest. Because it's super. Just have a little scale, your little Amazon scale that costs $15. Take your glass of wine, put it on the scale, turn it on, it goes to 0, and you pour 1 ounce. And you can weigh it out. I don't remember it's 1 fluid ounce, and I don't remember the weight conversion. It should be close to 1 to 1. But the first thing most people realize is that they're not drinking 1 glass of wine in 1 glass. They're pouring themselves a glass and a half in 1 glass.
Well, yeah, the glass is big, Brian. I mean, I gotta fill it up.
Clancy's
What do
like,
you?
of course.
I don't understand the problem here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right.
But do you remember me telling you, I don't know, about 6 months ago, I was trying to figure out why I was gaining pounds. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. And you said, what you asked me if I eat hummus. And I was like, well, heck yeah, I eat hummus. I eat the heck out of some hummus. I love it.
It's a great
so
example.
we would
Hummus is
pull
going to be
out
very similar to peanut butter.
exactly, and that's why I'm bringing it up because this is what I was doing, or we at the end of the day, or 5 o'clock, we'd pull out the hummus and the veggies, even if it was carrot sticks and
Yeah,
celery sticks. I
absolutely.
mean, we weren't. That's what we were using, but still, I was probably eating 300 calories worth of hummus
Yeah.
before I even made dinner,
Yeah.
you know? So I was like, what is the problem? And then you were like, do you eat hummus? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, well, maybe look at that, how much hummus you're eating. Cause I guarantee it was a lot.
Yeah. If you're
And
eating out of the
so,
container,
oh yeah, we're just scooping out of the container. We're like, look how healthy we
yeah.
are. I'm eating carrot sticks.
If anyone's listening to this and they're like, I don't want to weigh and measure, I don't, you know, all these things. Start with, um, I just lost my train of thought.
Don't eat out of the container.
Oh,
Start
thank you.
there.
Don't eat out of the container. That's the when we buy chips, like we'll buy a big bag of chips and we'll get the little snack bags, and I'll put 30 grams. It's why 30 grams? You can basically just fill up the bag and it comes out to about 30 grams. But I measure it. It's super simple. It's not nearly as onerous as I'm making it sound. And you can eat as many of those as you want. You just can only eat one at a time, and you have to take it and go sit down. And then when you're done, you have to get up and go get some more. And that just prevents you from eating, and suddenly the bag has disappeared. Right.
Yes. So basically, don't drink your wine out of the bottle. Don't eat your hummus straight out of the container. Don't eat your ice cream straight out of the container. Nor would you scoop your peanut butter out of the peanut butter
That's
container and just
that
binge on it. So we've learned something today.
we've learned hopefully we've learned a few things today. Some of these are more practical than others, but absolutely. Thank you, Clancy. I appreciate the
Right.
conversation. Hopefully we taught some people some things today.
I hope so. All right,
Have a great
Brian.
day.
Thanks a bunch. Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
You can get every episode of Busy People Getting Fit wherever you listen to your podcast or on YouTube. You can also reach us at busypeoplegettingfit.com. Until next time, thank you for listening.